the rest of the story. Marty Venker was a suit and tie kind of guy. Until London. He was staying at a hotel with professional associates, but they had gone out for the evening, so Marty went out on his own. He had been hearing about a new kind of music in town, something called punk rock. Marty was curious about it. He wanted to see and hear for himself, so he got the address of a local punk club and he went. What he saw and heard he could scarcely believe. The atmosphere was utter pandemonium. Young patrons with shaved heads and skull-shaped earrings and safety pins piercing their noses were slamming into each other, leaping into the murky air, spitting at the blaring rock band, which was a punk compliment akin to applause. The music was so loud that passers-by on the street outside were plugging their ears. And yet inside the basement club, young girls who looked like Manson family refugees were leaning their heads into the giant speakers, and there in the midst of this throbbing sonic insanity stood Marty Venker. Mr. Suit and Tie, straight job in a straight world, and yet incredibly he was loving every minute of this mayhem. That night was born Marty Venker, Mr. Punk. The first thing he did when he got home was to invest in some punk attire, studded black leather and steel-toed boots, dark glasses, aggressive-looking wristbands. He got a punk haircut, the weirdest one imaginable. Back home, Marty sought out the baddest of the punk bars, places like Crisco Disco and the Paradise Garage. They opened about midnight and closed around noon. And the more he hung out, the more interesting the establishments became. Like the ones where if the bartender knows you, you'll be taken upstairs to the real party, including unrestrained sex and drugs. But it didn't stop there, for in this underworld of gay bikers and burned-out night crawlers, Marty Venker became a celebrity, a professional punk rock disc jockey who made the rounds of the local dance clubs, and as far as anybody knows, Marty is still doing it today. But this is the rest of the story. For a number of years, and until only recently, Marty's was a very secret rebellion. It was only by night that he kinked up and freaked out. By day, he maintained his suit and tie job in the straight world, carefully wearing a wig to conceal the outlandish punk hairdo. And nobody caught on. I mean, for years. For years, nobody caught on as he alternated the wing-tipped Oxfords and the steel-tipped boots. Not one person suspected. And then one night, Marty was driving around with his freaky friends. They passed the place where he worked during the day, and his companions saw him staring. They, his companions, had no idea why. But Marty was looking up at one lighted window. He was looking at the silhouette of a colleague on night duty. A colleague whose job it was, as was Marty's, to protect the President of the United States. The building they were passing was the White House. For Marty Venker, punk rocker extraordinaire, was also one of the bravest and most effective agents who ever served in the Secret Service. Now you know the rest of the story.